Welcome back, everyone. We're diving into The Two Towers, which is, of course, the second part of Tolkien's masterpiece, The Lord of the Rings.
It's a pretty amazing book.
Yeah. And we're going to really try to get into the key scenes and the dialogue
Right from the source.
right from the source, directly from the book. So this is a great deep dive for anyone who's wants to really understand this book. Even if you're new to fantasy,
Yeah.
this is the place to be.
Yeah. I mean, Tolkien's language is so evocative. He really creates a world that feels, I don't know, both ancient and timeless at the same time. Draws you in, you know?
The depth and complexity of his world is just incredible. And we really see that in The Two Towers as the story kind of picks up, right?
Yeah.
Where Fellowship of the Ring left off, with the Falls of Rauros, the Fellowship is completely shattered.
Yeah, that's it's such a pivotal moment in the story. It's where, the fate of the Fellowship is really hanging in the balance.
Right.
And we start to see the true nature of the ring's power, how it affects people.
And Boromir's death there is just, it's heartbreaking. Oh, yeah?
Especially like Aragorn's lament over Boromir.
Yeah.
And then the image of the elven boat carrying him down the river. Just Tolkien's use of language is just, I don't know. It's just exquisite in that moment.
It is. It's really powerful stuff. And I think, it's not just beautiful imagery, right?
Yeah.
It's really foreshadowing, like Boromir succumbing to the ring's temptation, but then ultimately sacrificing himself to protect the hobbits. That kind of sets the stage for Frodo's own internal struggle that he's going to face throughout the rest of the story, really.
Right. That internal conflict becomes like a central theme for the rest of the books. And from this point, the story splits, right?
Yeah.
So Frodo and Sam are continuing towards Mordor, but then we have Aragorn, Legolas, and Gimli. They go after the orcs who have captured Merry and Pippin.
Right. They set off on this relentless pursuit. I mean, it's incredible how much ground they cover.
I know, so quickly. In such a short amount of time, But I think it shows their determination, obviously, to rescue their friends. But it also, if you look closely, there are these subtle clues about the forces that are at play. Like, they're constantly feeling weary. It's not just physical exhaustion.
Right. Are you talking about Saruman?
Yeah, I think Saruman is subtly hindering their progress. It's like this unseen force working against them.
Like he's using his power to make their journey harder, basically.
Exactly. And then there's this image of the Red Dawn that Legolas sees.
Right.
Which, adds to the sense of foreboding.
Foreshadowing, right. Like something bad is coming.
Like, things are not going to be easy.
Yeah. And they're heading towards Fangorn Forest, which is, I mean, come on, it's shrouded in mystery. Even Aragorn, who's, pretty brave, he advises caution.
Yeah. He specifically says, like, don't harm the trees.
Right. Like hinting at the presence of the Ents, the ancient tree shepherds, the Ents. Yeah. And it's interesting, too, how Gimli and Legolas, like, they have such different reactions to Fangorn, based on their culture's lore.
And like Tolkien is weaving these different perspectives into his world building, showing us how different beings perceive the same thing.
It's like it just adds another layer of, I don't know, depth and complexity to everything.
Totally. It's not just a simple, like, this is good and this is bad kind of thing, There are nuances. And speaking of different perspectives, let's talk about Merry and Pippin.
Oh, yeah.
Who are, captured by the orcs. And Tolkien uses their point of view to show us the conflict that's going on between the orcs of Mordor and the orcs of Isengard. It's not just a simple good versus evil narrative, right? There's infighting, there's power struggles.
Even within the forces of darkness.
Yeah, exactly. It's a reminder that evil is rarely this monolithic thing.
Right.
It's often fragmented with different factions vying for power, And it makes you think, like, even in the face of this brutality, how do Merry and Pippin even survive?
Yeah. I mean, the way Tolkien portrays the orcs is just, it's terrifying. Like, their dialogue, it brings their brutality and their fear to life.
Yeah.
Like, Ugluk boasting about Saruman.
Yeah.
And Grishnak, like, sneering at the Nazgul.
Right. It gives you this glimpse into their hierarchy and the terror that governs their society.
Yeah, it's chilling. But ultimately, Merry and Pippin, they escape, and they have this amazing encounter. They meet Treebeard.
Treebeard. What a character. His way of speaking is so slow and deliberate, and the way he carries the hobbits, It creates this sense of ancient wisdom and
I
power.
know. It's like he's been around forever. He's seen it all. Like, remember the drink that keeps you green and growing? That one little detail, tells you so much about the Ents and their connection to nature.
Yeah, they operate on a completely different time scale than everyone else in Middle-earth.
Meanwhile, Aragorn and his group, they're still following the Hobbit's trail. They're trying to piece together what happened to them.
Right, right.
And then, out of nowhere, Gandalf returns.
Oh, yeah, what an entrance. But he's not Gandalf the Grey anymore. He's Gandalf the White.
It's like he's radiating power. His confrontation with Saruman is amazing.
He breaks Saruman's staff.
Yeah.
He frees Theoden. It's this turning point in the story, you know?
Yeah, it's like things are finally starting to turn against the forces of darkness.
Right, exactly. And his explanation about, battling the Balrog and journeying on roads that I will not tell, it just hints at this vast history, you know? It's like there's so much more to this world than we even realize.
It makes you want to go back and learn everything about Middle-earth. But let's shift gears for a second, back to Frodo and Sam. They're struggling through the dead marshes, and Gollum is leading them, which is, not always the best guide.
No, he's not exactly trustworthy.
And then they meet Faramir, who's Boromir's brother.
Right.
And he's so different from Boromir. He resists the ring's allure. He shows mercy to Frodo and Sam.
It's a really powerful contrast. It shows how, different people respond to temptation
Right.
and Faramir's wisdom and compassion. It's a glimmer of hope in all this darkness.
Yeah, it's like a reminder that not all is lost.
Right.
Oh, and we can't forget about the Oliphant. Remember Sam being totally fascinated by these creatures?
Oh, yeah.
It's such a classic Tolkien moment.
Yeah.
Combining the fantastical with the relatable.
He makes you feel the wonder, but also the simple pleasures of life.
It's like even in this epic world-changing quest, they can still appreciate the beauty of these amazing creatures. But the journey's not over. They're heading towards Shelob's lair, which is probably one of the most terrifying places in all of Middle-earth.
Yeah, it's not just a physical threat either. Shelob embodies this ancient evil that's lurking in the shadows. It's like even Sauron himself struggles to control her.
Yeah, it's really unsettling. It's like a different kind of evil.
Right, it's primal. It predates even Sauron.
So picture this. Frodo and Sam, they're exhausted. They're making their way through these tunnels leading to Cirith Ungol, and Shelob is waiting for them in the darkness. The tension is just, I don't know, it's palpable.
And Tolkien, he builds the suspense so well. He describes the darkness, the webs, that feeling of being watched. You can practically feel the fear that Frodo and Sam are experiencing. You're right there with them.
It's masterful. And then, when it seems like all hope is lost, Frodo uses Galadriel's file.
Right.
The light, it drives Shelob back, but it also reveals Gollum's treachery. He betrays Frodo, leads him straight into Shelob's trap.
Oh, it's heartbreaking. It shows how obsessed Gollum is with the ring. He's willing to sacrifice everything, even those who have shown him kindness, to get it back.
And then we have this incredibly intense scene. Sam, armed with nothing but Faramir's staff and his own courage, fights Shelob to save Frodo. And then it seems like Frodo is dead.
I know, it's such a gut-wrenching moment.
And Sam's decision to take the ring, believing Frodo is gone, it's both heartbreaking and inspiring. It shows his loyalty, his willingness to carry on even when everything seems lost.
Yeah, it's a testament to Sam's character. He's just an ordinary hobbit, but he has this extraordinary strength.
Yeah. And we also get these glimpses of Isengard after the Ents attack. Merry and Pippin are there, enjoying the spoils of war with Treebeard.
It's like a moment of comic relief. Reminds us that, even in the midst of war, there can be joy.
And it shows the Hobbit's resilience, too.
Oh, absolutely.
They find a way to make the best of a bad situation. But then we're back with Gandalf at Isengard, and he reveals the secrets of the Palantir.
The Seeing Stone.
The Seeing Stone, yeah.
Yeah.
That Saruman used to communicate with Sauron.
And it's dangerous. It's a powerful tool, but it can be misused.
And it shows the corrupting influence of power,
Yeah.
Saruman's story is a cautionary tale.
Definitely.
It's like power corrupts, even the wisest and most powerful. And then Gandalf warns that the Nazgul are searching for Frodo.
The Ringwraiths.
The Ringwraiths. The stakes are higher than ever. The fate of Middle-earth, it's hanging in the balance.
And as we kind of delve deeper into the Two Towers, it's like Tolkien is weaving these separate threads together, creating this whole tapestry of suspense and wonder and, just profound emotion.
Yeah. It's like he's conducting an orchestra. Each character, Each storyline is like a different instrument.
Yeah.
And it all comes together to create this grand, complex piece of music.
That's a great way to put it. And speaking of weaving threads together, let's go back to Orthanc for a minute, where Gandalf confronts Saruman, who's still, trapped in his tower.
Right.
But what's really interesting here is that it's not just a physical confrontation, it's a battle of ideologies, a battle of wills, and magic, of course.
Yeah, it's like um, Gandalf is offering Saruman this chance to repent, to turn away from Sauron.
Right.
But Saruman, he's so consumed by pride and bitterness.
Yeah.
He refuses.
He's clinging to those last remnants of his power, thinking he can still manipulate things to his advantage.
Yeah.
He really underestimates Gandalf, though. Gandalf's wisdom and his connection to good.
But his voice, Saruman's voice, it used to be so persuasive.
Right.
But now it's lost its power. Remember how he tries to use his voice to sway the people around him? Even tries to, like, control Gandalf with words?
Oh, yeah, yeah. It's a desperate attempt to regain his lost authority, but it backfires.
Sure.
The others, they see through him. They recognize him for what he is. A broken, pathetic figure, just clinging to this illusion of power.
And then there's this, like, chilling moment when Saruman tries to use the Palantir to spy on Gandalf.
Oh, yeah.
But instead of giving him an advantage, it's like it reveals his weakness and desperation.
Totally. It's like the tools of power can become these instruments of self-destruction when they're wielded by, someone with corrupt intentions.
Yeah. And we can't forget about Wormtongue lurking in the shadows there.
Oh, Wormtongue. He's like this physical manifestation of Saruman's twisted nature.
I know. It's like this reminder of the insidious influence Saruman has had on others.
Yeah.
I always thought Wormtongue was such a tragic figure in a way, like this puppet master who becomes a puppet himself.
Yeah.
Remember when he throws the Palantir at Gandalf?
Yeah.
In a fit of rage?
Oh, yeah. It's an act of defiance, but it's also desperation,
Yeah,
And
right.
the fact that it ends up in Gandalf's possession it's symbolic, right?
Yeah.
It's this shift in power from manipulation and deceit to wisdom and compassion.
Yeah. And then Gandalf finally confronts Saruman, breaks his staff,
Yeah.
casts him out of the Order of Wizards. It's a really powerful moment of justice.
Yeah.
Like Saruman's reign of terror is finally over.
It's a reminder that no one is above the law, not even, these powerful wizards. But the story doesn't end there. Remember, we left Sam alone, carrying the ring, believing Frodo is dead. He's got this daunting task ahead of him to continue the quest into Mordor. And the weight of that responsibility, it's got to be immense.
It's hard to even imagine what must be going through his mind. Like, how do you go on when you've lost everything, when all hope seems lost?
That's the thing about Sam, though. He's just an ordinary hobbit thrown into these extraordinary circumstances, but he finds a way to persevere. His loyalty to Frodo, his love for the Shire, just that simple hobbit-like determination, it keeps him going.
Yeah, it's inspiring.
He's like this embodiment of the resilience of the human spirit.
Yeah, the ability to find hope even at the darkest of times.
And then in this moment of just pure joy and relief, Sam discovers that Frodo is alive.
Oh, yeah.
He's been captured by orcs, but he's not dead. It's like a ray of sunshine breaking through the clouds.
It's such a powerful moment. The reunion between Frodo and Sam, it reminds us that even when all seems lost, there's still hope.
Yeah, the power of friendship, the importance of never giving up. But, their ordeal is far from over. They're still deep inside Mordor, surrounded by enemies. And the ring's influence, it's only growing stronger the closer they get to Mount Doom.
It's like they're walking a tightrope over an abyss. Each step brings them closer to the edge.
And the Nazgul, those terrifying ring wraiths, they're constantly searching for them, adding to this sense of dread and suspense.
Yeah, it's like danger is lurking around every corner. It's amazing how Tolkien creates this atmosphere of impending doom, but at the same time, he offers these glimmers of hope, keeps us on the edge of our seats.
Absolutely. He balances those moments of despair with moments of courage and resilience. It's like he's constantly reminding us that even in the face of, overwhelming darkness, the flame of hope can still flicker. Now let's take a step back for a second. Think about the bigger picture. What do you find most impactful about the Two Towers so far?
That's a tough one. There's so much that stands out. The epic battles, the fantastical creatures, the journeys that these characters go through. But I think what really resonates with me is this exploration of the human spirit under duress. Tolkien captures these internal struggles, the doubts, the fears, the moments of courage and despair. It's really powerful.
Yeah, I totally agree. He shows us that even the most ordinary individuals, like hobbits, can rise to meet these extraordinary challenges. And he reminds us that even in the darkest of times, there's still beauty to be found, courage to be summoned, hope to be held onto.
Yeah. I mean, we've witnessed the clash of armies at Helm's Deep, the destruction of Isengard, this incredible confrontation between Gandalf and Saruman. But I think in many ways, the most profound battles are the ones that are fought within the hearts and minds of these characters.
Absolutely. And as we move towards the conclusion of the Two Towers, we know that final confrontation with Sauron is coming. But before we delve into that, let's pause here for a moment. Reflect on what we've learned, and we'll be back soon to explore those final chapters of this epic tale.
And we're back. Back in Mordor with Frodo and Sam. As we get to the end of the Two Towers,
Yeah.
Tolkien really shifts the focus. It becomes much more about the psychology and the emotional toll of the quest. It's not so much about, big battles and stuff anymore.
Yeah, the landscape itself kind of becomes a reflection of their internal struggles.
Yeah.
This barren, desolate landscape of Mordor, it mirrors Frodo's growing despair and the weight of the ring.
It's almost like the land itself is a manifestation of Sauron's evil.
Yeah.
Just pressing down on them with every step closer to Mount Doom. And then, you've got the Nazgul
Oh, yeah.
always there.
The ever-present threat, yeah.
That just adds to the whole claustrophobic feeling.
Remember that scene where Frodo catches just a glimpse of a Nazgul flying overhead?
Oh, yeah.
It's not just the physical danger, right? It's that psychological impact, the feeling of being hunted, of being watched by something that is just pure evil.
It's like they represent Sauron's will reaching out to corrupt Frodo, from the inside.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And in this, incredibly hostile environment, Sam becomes even more vital to Frodo's survival.
Oh, yeah.
He's the constant source of support,
Mhm.
grounding Frodo with his hobbit sense, his unwavering loyalty.
Yeah. There's that scene where Sam reminds Frodo of the Shire, of, the simple life they're fighting to protect. I mean, it's a reminder that even in this awful place, Mordor hope and beauty still exist.
Yeah. It's really powerful. Like, it's the power of memory, holding on to those things that matter.
And it's those moments of connection that really help Frodo resist the ring, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
He knows what's at stake. The fate of Middle-earth. He's determined to finish his mission.
No matter the cost.
And as we come to the end of the Two Towers, there's this feeling of dread. Right? Of course. Yeah.
Knowing what's coming, but also anticipation.
Yeah.
But I'm also struck by the hope that Tolkien weaves throughout the story.
I mean, that's one of the things that makes him such a great storyteller. He portrays the struggles, the despair, but he never lets hope fade away completely. And that's a powerful message,
Yeah, it is.
for all of us, I think, even beyond Middle-earth.
It reminds us that even when facing incredible odds, we can still find the strength to keep going, to hold on to those things that matter, to believe that things can get better.
Yeah, and as we, close the book on the Two Towers, we know the journey doesn't end here, right?
Right.
It continues in the Return of the King.
Yeah.
And it continues within each of us, I think,
Yeah.
as we, face our own challenges, try to make our own mark on the world.
The Two Towers it's more than just a fantasy novel.
Yeah.
It's about courage, friendship, sacrifice, and hope. And it's a story that continues to resonate with people, all these years later. Absolutely. And, I think Tolkien said it best. All that is gold does not glitter. Not all those who wander are lost.
Yeah. So keep seeking adventure, keep fighting for what you believe in, and never lose sight of the light, even in the darkest of times. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the Two Towers.
Thanks for having me.
Until next time, may your journeys be filled with courage, wonder, and hope.